Hello students, I am NK Thukral from Edupedia world. Students, in the previous session, I had discussed on Taylor's principles of scientific management. The principles of scientific management. However, to recapitulate, I would like to tell you about Taylor's theory of principles of management. That is, science, not rule of thumb, harmony, not discord, cooperation, not individualism, and development of workers to their greater efficiency. Taylor believed that there was only one best method to maximize efficiency. This method can be developed through study and analysis. Further, Taylor also suggested the various techniques of scientific management. The principles of scientific management brings out the basic philosophy behind the theory. Taylor said that the principal object of management should be to secure the maximum prosperity for the employer coupled with maximum prosperity for each employee. The word maximum prosperity are used in the broad sense. It means not only large dividends for the company, but development of every branch of the business to its highest state of excellence, so that prosperity may be permanent. In the same way, prosperity for each employee mean not only higher wages, but the development of each employee. So now let's discuss the technique of scientific management as suggested by Taylor. Before coming to the first technique of scientific management, that is functional foremanship, let me tell you various techniques as suggested by Taylor. One is functional foremanship, another is standardization and simplification of work, another is method study, another is motion study, time study, fatigue study, and differential piece-based system. So let's discuss one by one. Number one technique, he suggested functional foremanship. Under this, according to this technique, the task of supervision is divided into several specialized functions and each function is entrusted to a specialist foreman. Let's take an example of a factory. Under factory manager, there are two in charge: supervision, planning in charge, and production in charge. And under planning in charge, there is instruction card clerk, route clerk, time and cost clerk, disciplinarian. Another is under production in charge, there is a speed boss, gang boss, repair boss, and inspector. So all of the supervision. Now, Taylor's concept of functional foremanship is in direct contrast to the unity of command, as already we have discussed. He emphasized that one foreman is not expert in all aspects of work. So each worker should be supervised by a number of foremen, or you can say supervisors, who are specialists of their field. It will improve the quality of supervision, which in turn will improve the quality of work and efficiency of workers. This concept was extended to the lowest level of the shop floor. Taylor applied the principle of division of work to add specialization. He separated planning and doing functions, and each function is managed by a group of 4 foremen, that is total 8 specialists, guide and direct a worker. Functional foremanship is a technique which aims to improve the quality of supervision at shop floor by putting a worker under 8 specialized foremen. Thus, under this technique, in a functional organization, work is divided into many small parts and each part is assigned to an expert. In this manner, all the benefits of specialization are availed of. Further now, Taylor has defined functional organization as follows. Functional organization consists of so dividing the management that each man from the assistant superintendent shall have as function as possible to perform. If practicable, the work of each man in the management should be confined to the performance of a single leading function. So ultimately, Taylor suggested further the division of the work of factory manager into 2 sub-departments, as you can see in the slide: planning and production in charge. 4 experts are appointed in each department. The experts in the planning department do planning, and the experts in the production department also help in production. So now let's talk on the duties of all these workers. So the number 1 is instruction card clerk. What is his function? This clerk prepares the instructions to draft instructions for the workers. So this clerk ensure the sequence of completing a particular work, meaning thereby the stage it shall have to pass before finalized. He also decides the job to be done for the day and where it is to be done. Second is card clerk. What is his function? So I may repeat again, there are two types of clerk, instruction card clerk and route clerk. What is the function of instruction card clerk? To draft instructions for the workers, and the function of route clerk is to specify the route of production. So let's come on the third worker. What he has to do? Time and cost clerk. What is his duty? This clerk decides as to when a particular work is to be started and finished, meaning thereby as to what time the whole work will take place. It is also decided at the same time at what cost the product will be produced. So fourth worker is discipline officer, or you can say disciplinarian. What is his duty? To ensure discipline respectively. Means the discipline officer ensures that every work is being performed in a disciplined manner. Now let's come on the production department. Number one is speed boss, another is gang boss, another is repair boss, and another is inspector. Now what is gang boss, or you can say, let us take first speed boss. What is the function of speed boss? The main function of the speed boss is to ensure that all workers are performing their job at the required or expected speed. If it is not so, the speed boss tries to find out the cause of slow speed and hence a solution for it. Second one is gang boss. What is his function? The workers are divided into various groups from the point of view of control. A group leader is selected who is known as the gang boss. He is expected to ensure that both the workers and the machines are fit enough for production and that the material required for their use has been made available to them. Third is repair boss. The main function of the repair boss is to keep the machines and tools in working condition. Another one is inspector. What is his duty? To check the quality of work. Simply, he inspects the things produced and compares their quality with the standard prescribed for them and tries to find out the difference. In case of unfavorable result, he initiates corrective action. So these were the duties of the workers under production department. Why did Taylor stress on the need for multiple foremen? The entire production planning, implementation and control depend on the competence of foreman. So he should have intelligence, education, tact, grit, judgment, special knowledge, manual dexterity, energy, honesty and good health. Unity of command, I may tell you again that unity of command emphasizes that a subordinate should receive orders and be accountable to one and only one supervisor. On the other hand, functional foremanship emphasizes on minimum 8 specialists to supervise and give orders to subordinates. Next technique suggested by Taylor is standardization and simplification of work. Now let us understand what is standardization. Standardization refers to the process of setting standards for every phase of business operation. It involves fixing certain values or standards in quality and quantity of goods by using standardized equipment, materials, production methods. For example, if for producing A quality of finished goods, X quality of raw materials are required and the same has been determined after due deliberation, then we can say that A quality of finished goods, X quality of raw materials have been standardized. In the future, whenever it is required to produce A quality of finished goods, X quality of raw material will be used without any hesitation. By doing so, good quality of finished goods can be produced in the least possible time. Another one is standardized machines and tools. This comes under standardization. Standardization of machines and tools ensure that they are of the required quantity and type to produce the desired finished goods. For example, if for producing A quality of finished goods, X machine and M, N and O tools are required, then whenever finished goods of A quality are to be produced, it can be done with the use of X machine and M, N, O are the tools will be used. Standardization of machines and tools will reduce errors on the part of workers so as to which machine or tools are to be used, and hence work can proceed at a much faster and accurate speed. By standardizing the optimum techniques of doing work, it can proceed at a faster pace with much greater ease. The technique determined for doing a particular work is used uniformly whenever such work is performed. Standardization, working conditions. These are also to be there. Working conditions have a very deep impact on the efficiency of workers. In standardizing working condition, it is noted that how much temperature, ventilation, lighting, cleanliness and safety is necessary at the workplace. After due studies, the working conditions are standardized and efforts are made to maintain them at the workplace. Now, these are under standardization. Now, let's talk of simplification of work. What Taylor suggested. First of all, let's understand what is simplification. Simplification refers to eliminating unnecessary varieties, sizes and grades of the product manufactured by the organization. Now, what is the objective for this? It aims to eliminate unnecessary diversity of products, sizes and types. It implies reduced inventories, fuller utilization of equipment and increasing turnover. It brings economy in operation and facilitates better control of activities. For example, Hindustan Unilever Limited, a company, reduced its variety of soaps and it generated efficient and effective results for the company. So this is coming under standardization and simplification of work. Next technique is method study. Now, what is method study? First of all, let's understand method study is concerned with finding one best way of doing a job. It refers to identify the most suitable way to do a particular activity. To conduct the study, process chart and operation research techniques are used. The main objective of this study is to minimize the cost of production and maximize the quality and level of consumer satisfaction. So that's all in this method study. The search for this method study starts from procurement of raw materials and continues till the final product is delivered to the customer. For finding one best method of performing a job, critical analysis is made for plant layout, production design, material handling and work processes. So many techniques like process charts, operation research, etc. are also used. Example, let's take an example. To design a car, the assembly line production would need to decide a sequence of operations, place for men, machines and raw materials. All this is a part of method study. Next technique is, you can see in the slide, that is motion study. Now, what is motion study? Motion study refers to making thorough analysis of various motions being performed by a worker while he is doing a particular task. Motion study involves study of movements like lifting, putting objects, sitting and changing position, etc., which are undertaken while doing a typical job. It refers to conduct the study of motions being performed by workers and machines while doing the job. The movie camera is used to conduct this study. The main objective of this study is to eliminate the unnecessary motions. Let's take an example. During an experiment, it was found that while laying a brick, a mason was conducting 18 different activities, but after eliminating the unnecessary activities, the number of activities could be reduced to 5 and in certain cases even down to 2 activities. So this is what is coming in the motion study. So Taylor used movie cameras and various symbols and colors to identify different motions. If it is observed through motion study, the worker has to move frequently for taking tools and toolbox, then such unnecessary movements can be eliminated by keeping the toolbox near the worker. It will not only increase the productivity but also the efficiency level. Next study is time study. Now, what is in the time study? How you can define it? Define study refers to a technique which is used to determine the standard time taken by a workman of reasonable skills and ability to perform a well-defined jobs. It helps in determining how much work an employee should be able to do and in given a period of time. So time is the most important factor in this study. So how we can say it refers to determine the standard time required to complete a particular activity. The standard time is determined on the basis of average time taken by the several experiences of the same work. This is how it can be received, how can be judged, but how the time is to be set. So this study is conducted with the help of a stopwatch. The main objective of this study are to get the estimated figure of labor cost, to determine the number of required workers and to decide about the suitable incentive plan. What are the objective of this time study? To determine number of workers to be employed, to frame suitable incentive schemes, to determine labor costs. Let's take an example. On the basis of several observations, it is determined that a worker takes a standard time of 30 minutes to make one box. It means the workers can make 2 boxes in 1 hour and 14 boxes in 7 hours. Now this is the standard task a worker has to do, and wages can be decided accordingly. Next technique is fatigue study. Now what is fatigue study? It refers to determine the duration and frequency of the rest intervals to complete a particular job. The rest refreshes the workers. They work again and their full capacity. Now what is the objective of this study? The main objective of this study is to maintain the efficiency level of workers. There may be so many causes of fatigue, such as long working hours, poor working conditions, unsuitable work, unhappy relation with the boss, etc., etc. So fatigue means tiredness from physical or mental work. So Taylor suggested that a person gets tired when he works continuously without a break. The amount and the frequency of rest intervals should be decided through fatigue study and not randomly. So, in case of heavy manual labor, small pauses must be frequently given to the worker so that he can recharge his energy level for optimum contribution. Fatigue study helps to avoid accidents, rejections, and industrial sickness. There can be many causes for fatigue, like long working hours, doing unsuitable work, having uncoordination, etc., etc. Such hindrances in good performance should be removed. Next technique, and the last technique, it is said differential wage system, or you can say differential piece rate system. So what Taylor suggested in this? Taylor has advised the adoption of differential wage system in order to motivate the employees. According to this system, wages are paid on the basis of work done and not on the basis of time spent in doing the work. So what is specialty in this? The wages should be paid on the basis of work done and not on the basis of time spent in doing the work. So, according to Taylor, financial incentives act as a motivators, and scope of extra earnings motivates the workers to put extra efforts. So, Taylor developed the concept of differential piece wage system. The basic purpose of fixing two rates is to differentiate efficient and inefficient workers and to suitably reward the efficient workers. Now, let's take an example. Suppose standard task is fixed at 10 units and rate fixed at ₹50 per unit for workers who produce 10 units or more, and 40 per unit for workers who produces less than 10 units. So these two rates are there. If a worker produces 11 units, he will get 550. If another worker produces 9 units, then he will get 360. So according to Taylor, the difference of 190 should be enough for inefficient worker to be motivated to perform better. So this is what Taylor suggested for the differential piece wage system. So students, we have discussed the techniques of scientific management as suggested by Taylor. After these techniques, time study and motion study are also very important. So let's just find out what is the difference between time study and motion study. As you can see in the slide, number one, basis purpose. Under time study, it aims to determine standard time to do a particular job, whereas in case of motion study, its objective is to eliminate unnecessary movement in doing work. Another one is development of new methods. Under time study, it does not develop new methods of doing the work. In case of motion study, it helps in developing new methods of doing work by eliminating unnecessary movements. Third one is differences tools of study. Under time study, it is conducted with the help of stopwatch, whereas in the motion study, it is conducted through movie camera. These are the differences between time study and motion study. So students, after discussing the 7 techniques as suggested by Taylor, now let's talk of modern techniques of scientific management. It's just for reference. I may tell you that there are 4 types of techniques as given in the under modern techniques of scientific management. Let me brief you one by one. Number one is just-in-time manufacturing. What is this? It is an inventory management strategy which aims to reduce inventory and its associated costs in order to improve return on investment. Second is lean manufacturing. These techniques focus on reducing 7 wastes of overproduction. Number one, waiting time. Another is transportation. Another is processing, motion, inventory, scrap, and any manufacturing process. The objective is to improve quality and reduce cost and production time. That's why it is called lean manufacturing. Now another technique is Kaizen. Kaizen. What is this technique? It is a Japanese word. It is used which means change for better. It focuses on improving productivity by eliminating waste and using approach of just-in-time delivery, standardization work, right-sized equipment, etc. Another technique is suggested as Six Sigma. This technique aims to bring down inefficiency and save time and money by reducing quality variations. It has a strong customer-oriented approach that refers on data to create more efficient processes or refine existing processes. So these are the modern techniques suggested here. So students, we have talked today on the various techniques of scientific management as suggested by Taylor, and comparison with time study of motion study, as also just for reference I have discussed on modern techniques of scientific management. So this is all for today students. Thank you. Bye bye for the class.